All right, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am great. How was your trip?
It was great. It was a good drive. Me and my daughter had some great conversation. It's about 3 hours and some change from Charlotte, so it wasn't bad.
Okay, so once again, tell us a little bit about how you grew up in Charlotte.
So I'm originally from Charlotte. So in Charlotte, there are a lot of people who are what we call transplants to the city. Not me. I was born in Charlotte Memorial. I was raised in Concord. I went off to school at North Carolina Central in Durham, and then I came back and I've raised my family in Charlotte. So it's a wonderful place, beautiful city. I've had the opportunity to go all over the country, but I always find myself thinking that's really where I'd love, where I want to be. And so I love where I am. Growing up, it was great. I had a wonderful mom and dad. I have two brothers. I'm the oldest of three siblings. Um, but I come from a family of my grandparents had 14 kids. They were together 68 years before my grandmother passed away. My grandfather owned the oldest black-owned business in Cabarrus County in Concord. So we come from some really great people, and we have such a unit of love and commitment to each other, and that's I think that's what I want to say in terms of attributing why I'm becoming the person that I've become, um, to that type of background and what I've experienced growing up. So.
So you mentioned, him having a black-owned business. That's one thing that, even though a lot of us are black and we grew up in the community, everybody doesn't fully understand
Mm-hmm.
what it means to have a black-owned business. How did that help you?
Just watching my grandfather, he built over half of Concord. He was a brick mason. And watching him always get out there and work every single day. He had 9 sons. Seven of them were always seemed to be of age to work for him and with him. Being able to watch that type of entrepreneurship, and he did that his entire life. That's how my grandfather fed our family and his 14 kids and where my mother comes from. And so to be able to watch that, that's kind of instilled in you, and so there's a part of me that I have this deep entrepreneurial spirit that, while I've been in property management for 23 years, I always have something else going on. And that's what I recommend people do, because especially the way corporate America and corporations are set up now, there's no loyalty. And so you have to make sure that you are sufficient and self sufficient for your own family and for our own community. So that's what my grandfather taught me. Yeah.
So, the whole business aspect of things, what made you decide to become a writer and tackle the relationship aspect?
Oh my goodness. So I've always been a writer. I wrote my very first book when I was in college, but I never published it. My best friend read it, and I left her hanging after like 8 chapters. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And then, but I did not write these books until I was 42 years old. Okay. That's why I tell people it is you do the thing you're designed to do no matter what. I don't care how old you are. I don't care, what those things are that you tend to think hold you back. If there is something that you're passionate about, you need to get out there and discover what that thing is. If it doesn't let you sleep at night, that's what you should be doing. And if you get up in the morning and you still have rest after you've been working on it all night, that is a gift and a calling from God, is what I truly believe. And so I released these 3 books. It's the Chronicles trilogy. The very first one is called Elevator Silence. And honestly, they came from two of the worst relationships I've had in my life. Okay. And they came from a place of celibacy. I was celibate for like 5 years. And I didn't know if I was going through that process for a spiritual awakening. At the time, it was just because I was done. I didn't feel like being bothered, and I felt like I needed to cleanse, everything in terms of, no, I wanted to focus on who I was becoming. And I felt like a relationship would be a distraction. So, in fact, one of the books has semen is a cloud, it's a chapter, okay, because it clouds up your mind and your emotions and even your spirituality if you get that deep with it, you know. And so these books came from real life situations, and not just my situations, but from situations from women that I know. You know, what I did was I was just able, the great thing about being an author is you can take that work and take all the stuff that you've gone through and flip it a little bit, you know, but you can still allow people to grow from those experiences.
What do you think is the disconnect between in relationships? It's so many different factors that go into why they work and don't work out. What's your take on that as a whole?
I think that we spend far too much time trying to get people to conform to who we want them to be, right? There is something beautiful about just being who you are, you know, and being your authentic self. And the person who loves you, loving you for your authentic self. You know, what we do is we meet a person, right? Oh, I love, you know, everything about this person. But then once you get into the relationship, you start to try to tweak them, you know, just a little bit. Well, say that person loves you enough to start to tweak and conform to that. Is that person the person you met when you were first attracted to them? No, they have really become a different version of themselves based on, well, if they would only do this, right? Allow that person to grow into who they're going to become. And what real love is understanding that love is cyclical. Love is an emotion. You know, you want to be with someone who can love you through all things, even when you can't stand the sight of them, you know, but they understand that we have a commitment to one another. Love and commitment are two completely different things. You understand? And so once you decide you have a commitment and a responsibility to one another, whether that you're head over heels in love with that person at that moment or you can't stand their guts, you don't walk away from them because there's a commitment there. So, yeah.
So, with that being said, tell us a little bit about the event you have coming up.
So the event that I have coming up, it is called What's Your Mountain? And I specialize in, now I talk about relationships in general, but I talk about the relationship that you have with yourself first. And my favorite phrase is self-love is not selfish, right? You have to focus on loving you first because that relationship you develop with you is the one that's going to facilitate all the other relationships that you're in, right? And so what I want for What's Your Mountain is I'm bringing a group of women together. I have the phenomenal April Parker Jones of Supergirl and If Loving You Is Wrong. I have the wonderful Ramira Stackhouse, who is the wife of Jerry Stackhouse, being there to help be facilitators and guest speakers. We are bringing 50 women right here to Atlanta, Stone Mountain, Georgia, and we are gonna conquer what we feel is holding us back, symbolically by conquering Stone Mountain, Georgia together. The way this came about is I was here a few months ago with my best friend. She's getting married. And she said, when you come, bring your sneakers. We're going to just walk my neighborhood. And I'm like, okay. We get she said, come on, come on. I said, I thought we were going to walk the neighborhood. She's like, no, we're going to go climb Stone Mountain. And I was like, what? We're supposed to be drinking mimosas. We're supposed to be planning your wedding. We are not supposed to be sweating to the degree of going to climb Stone Mountain. And so I'm normally the friend that's like, okay, we can try it, we can do it, whatever. But that particular day, I was 100% Whitney Houston diva. I was like, I don't want to do it. Why are we doing this? And I was so disgruntled. And she was really taken aback because she had never seen me in that light before. So we got to climbing the mountain. I was complaining the whole time. I'm asthmatic, so I thought that I wasn't going to be able to make it. I think that's where all the stress came from because I had anxiety about that. So when we get to the top of the mountain, I tell her to go ahead, her and our other friend, go ahead. I think I'm going to stop right here. So I do a Facebook video, and I'm like, guys, my girlfriend has me out here climbing the mountain. We're supposed to be drinking mimosas. We're climbing this mountain. And I'm complaining in the video. But in that instance, I hear, you know, the scripture about the race not being given to the swift or the strong, but the one who can endure. And I'm talking, and you see me have this epiphany. And I tell my audience, I go, Guys, I just heard, but the race is not given to the swift. It's the one who can endure. So I got to endure. So I got up and I finished the climb. And coming back, when I got up there, my girlfriends didn't know that I was going to do it, got up there and finished. They were like, oh my God, we're so happy. Coming back down the mountain, I have this chill bumps. And I go, God, you want me to do what's your mountain? You want me to bring women here and let them symbolically conquer the thing that's holding them back and release it. And so I couldn't think about anything else. This was back in the end of March. We have pulled this thing together. It's happening September 20th through the 22nd. So many people are excited about it. And really, you can go to Eventbrite and sign up for it. It's really inexpensive. So you're going to come to Duluth. We're going to put you up at a hotel. We're going to next day go climb Stone Mountain, and then we're going to take you to Lake Lanier. We're going to do yoga. We're going to do trap Pilates with Ramira, which is going to be great. April Parker Jones is going to come speak to us, and we're going to have massage and mimosas and all that. But it's a collective retreat for women to help us all learn what we need to learn about ourselves and then release. And then we also have a licensed psychologist that'll be there as well.
Now, one thing that I read about the event in particular
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that with women letting things deter them from their dreams and
Mm-hmm.
their career aspirations. With me being in the entertainment field, one thing that I have seen in particular that I've taken notice to is that a lot of women that have come along the way that I've worked with, a lot of them have let men stop them from doing what they were trying to do, whether it be them getting pregnant. The guy, if it's a model, the guy doesn't want her getting too much attention.
Mm-hmm.
Those career goals are put on hold. Even all the way down to women going to school and them having, dreams of getting a degree and things of that nature. Those things are being put on hold for men as well. You said earlier that semen is a cloud. So kind of elaborate a little bit more on that.
I can tell you that your strength, definitely, when you partner, Michelle Obama said it best recently. When you partner with someone, you want to partner with someone who is strong, someone who can hold you down and you can hold each other down. You can't partner with someone who's wavering, And if you find that you are in a situation where you're growing and that person is staying stagnant, the best thing you can do for yourself is release, because one of two things are going to happen. Either he's going to go, okay, that's the best thing in life I've got going on. I've got to make sure that I get up to her level. Or you'll be able to release to find who's being designed specifically for you. Women, and I say this honestly, the lonely is the hardest part. You don't want to be by yourself. But what you have to understand is sometimes being by yourself is the absolute best company you can have. And it is the process that you're being taken through to get to those levels where you find that person who is being designed for you. But your gift can't be held back for anyone, because our gifts are not just meant for us, right? Our gifts are meant for everyone else to be able to benefit from as well. And so if you allow someone to hold you back, you are quenching what I call the spirit, and you are actually doing a detriment to the people who were supposed to learn from you. And so that's why it's so important that you got to release those strongholds and understand that you have to be able to walk boldly in the gifts that God has given you. So
I have a question in particular about, and I definitely want to hear your perspective.
Okay,
so there on social media,
yeah,
there's a lot of women who are venting. We're going through that. Women's empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
They're feeling a lot better about themselves. To a degree, guys are kind of we're getting our butts kicked verbally online.
Yeah.
One thing I always say to women is, you guys choose your man.
Absolutely.
And even though a lot of men get the backlash, for cheating and a lot of things of that nature, the women have to ultimately select that guy to be with for whatever reason, and often the wrong choices are made.
That's right.
So if you want a guy that's going to treat you the right way, then you have to find a guy who, what what's his track record,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. If he already has children and he's already doing the wrong thing with them, then don't procreate with that same
Exactly.
man. And a lot of times women don't want to hear that.
Right.
You know, so it's you being a mature woman and you've been through it. You know, what kind of advice would you give to a younger
I say self-evaluation is the only way that you and being true to who you actually are. So look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself the truth and own your responsibility in it, right? The same way that a lot of women don't want to hear from you, they don't want to hear from me either, because one of the chapters in one of my books is called Sleeping in the Bed You Made. And it might be a bed of nails or it may be a down soft comforter, right? Either way, you got to sleep in it and you got to own your part in it. You know, everything that happens to you doesn't happen just by happenstance. Some things are completely beyond your control, right? But then there are some things, and sometimes we're kept in the wilderness based on self-inflicted things that we don't want to take ownership of. But I contend that when you take ownership, when you accept and you truthfully say, this is who I am, you know, who am I really? Do I tell the truth or do I just want people to think I do? Do I live for likes, right? Am I insecure? What is it about me that I have to have, you know, this particular person pay me attention? Whatever it is, right? Figure out what that is, get to the bottom of it and accept that truth. That's when your growth happens. The only way you get to grow is when you accept the truth about who you are, and then you become free. You know, nothing can be held against you at that point, and then you're able to grow through it. So with younger women, I say, you know, definitely self-evaluation is the key, but constant self-evaluation. You know, don't just blame him. Take ownership for your part in it, decide that you're going to grow from it, and then learn the lesson and keep moving. So yeah.
So with life lessons and, you know, aside from relationships, you know, you also on the radio show, right?
Yes.
Okay, break the radio show down.
Oh, 72.9 The Voice. First of all, I'm completely honored that I get the opportunity to do that work. It never would have come about had I not written these 3 books. That's why I say do the thing that you're designed to do. You have no idea where God is going to take you. You allow the door to open and then you run through it, okay? And so that's what happened. And so Lakeisha, the executive producer, she reached out to my people, Tangi Davis, and said, hey, we really like her. I had done the Warren Ballantyne show a couple of times, and we had really great energy. And she said, I think you can do this. I really do. And so I already had a little show called Queen City Up Close that I was doing, you know, in and around Charlotte for a couple of different outlets. But we decided, okay, we're going to call it Up Close Conversations and take it to a different level. And so we do it, you know, in a recorded environment, but then it's also the audio is available and it's played on the radio as well. So yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you also have a new book coming?
Yes, the new book is called the Couch Chronicles. And so the beautiful thing about the new book is that they are all real life stories. It's about 12 short stories that people actually gave to me about things that happened in their life. And they allowed me to put my author spin to it. I give what actually happened, you know, and make it so that people find it interesting and really want to read it. But then at the end, I give you love notes for your soul, you know, my take on that particular situation. And I want to give you a love note on how to endure whatever it is that you're going through so you can conquer that thing. Back to what's your mountain, right? Conquer that thing, have and know the truth about it so you can grow and keep moving. So that's what the new book is about. It's going to launch at the same time as What's Your Mountain.
So with all the endeavors that you have going on right now, what is the next goal for you?
The next goal for me, honestly, there are a couple of things that we had in the works. We have a play that I have put off. The Black Proprietary Theater out of Oakland or in Berkeley, California. They're very interested in putting my work together. We have some, you know, film stuff that we're looking at. So I'm telling you, what I want is to be able to take this messaging that I believe that God has given me, and I want to be able to touch who it is supposed to touch.
Lastly, how can people reach you and find your book and things of that nature?
So you can find me on every outlet under Latise M. Howie. So it's LATISE M Howie HOWIE. So that's at Latise M. Howie. Or I have an author page there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those are the same handle. Or you can go to latisemhowie.com.